What is up? For those of you guys that are watching this on the replay, we're going to get into how this week went to shit fast. Let me tell you. If anybody gets in here. Mr. Mayhem, boy, let me tell you. It's been a while since I've been this mad. Rusty, what's up? We're out here in some off-brand city in Ohio right now. What's up, Becca? All right, so listen. What is the one thing that you prize most as a team truck, trainer truck, whatever you want to call it? You want to have as much control over the situation as possible, right? So when you get stacked loads, you're like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna sleep here, or I'm gonna sleep there, or maybe I don't need to sleep because we're gonna have this time here or this time there. And it started going to hell. Yeah, time is one. It started going to hell. So what we had was, we had a load that was going to drop off in Wisconsin, and it was going to go down to, it was going to drop in Wisconsin. Then we had a high value load picking up in Indiana, deadhead, still like $10 a mile, all this kind of stuff. Is probably Prime's most profitable client. Probably Prime's most profitable client, but I think they screwed us, to be honest with you. So we drop off this load. Now I know they were sitting on this other load for a long time. So we do the depart call. We're about to head to Manuka, pick up a new trailer, because where we're going, the trailer needs to be washed and dried. So we go, we're like, okay, we're gonna go drop this trailer off in Manuka, head down to Indiana. As soon as we drop that load, we get something saying our pre-plan has changed, and here's another load. Well, we were already late for the next load coming up, right? And again, it was a short load, good money, all that kind of stuff, but it screwed us on our sleep schedule, all this kind of stuff, and it screwed up the whole trailer situation. So we go, what they were looking at it is here's an extra $1,000 for your week, because we're still going to get you on this other high value load. So we go ahead and do that. Now at this point, we're a little tired, and I go down to Manuka, get a washed trailer with the seal on it and everything, and it's dry. So we head down to Indianapolis, or not Indianapolis, but Indiana. Get to the shipper. This is where I was so mad that I was like, you know what? I'll pay you to get me off this load. And when I say that, I was serious. Was I serious?
Serious.
I was serious. So we go to the shipper. They're like, oh, wait, we're not going to load you out of here. You got to go to this other place. So now we got to drive 20 more miles to get to the other place. Now, only you can guess what they said at the next place when we get there. We're not going to load you here. You got to go to this other place. So now we drive to the other place. We get to the other place. Now there are two other Prime trucks. Now, one of them was too smart. I'll give it to him. And one of them was probably too stupid or too slow that he didn't make it to all these deliveries before he got the address to this eventual place where they were supposed to load us. So we get there and they're like, oh, this is our fault. We didn't know that you guys were coming in and all this kind of stuff. So to make a long story short, they blamed our trailer for having a smell in it, for not loading us, which was an excuse, I'm telling you, because the way they were acting. So they loaded the first 2 prime trucks. We were the next ones to go in. They put another truck in the dock and then had us back in. And it was almost like, we don't want to pay this detention or anything like that. We don't have the product, whatever it is. And they said, your trailer smells too bad. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking crazy. This trailer does not smell bad. So I call my fleet manager. I'm going off. He's like, well, you know, this is like a $5 million account and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, if the customer says a fart or a mouse farted in it 3 weeks ago, then, you know, that's what we got to do. So anyway, I was like, you know what? They're like, we're going to get you on another load, another high value load, picking up this other place, delivering later tonight. So I was like, really, they've already blown up my sleep schedule at this point. So we're like, fuck it. But now we got to get rid of this trailer because, as he said, they already had when we went to the 4th place, they already had the trailer that we had at the 4th place. But that trailer actually smelled less bad than the one that we picked up and was less moist than the one that we picked up to take out there. So I don't know. So we finally pick up the load, and this really pissed me off. So, you know, on them high value loads, they're like, oh, you got to drive them out 200 miles and all this kind of shit. Speaking of shit, I had this shit. I felt like I was riding a turtle bareback. And they shut down the place. Like, as soon as we were loaded, they closed that shit, and that was it. So now I'm like, okay, I could hold it for 2 more 100 miles. But I was like, if we got to pull over, I ain't worried about high values. I'm not worried about none of that. I'm like going to go ahead and do what I got to do. So anyway, we finally get to our eventual location. And I think we got there at, our delivery was supposed to be at 9 p.m. We didn't get there till like 10:30, something like that. And then we didn't get unloaded till about 3 something. Can't get no detention because we weren't there on time. So anyway, to make a long story short, listen, by the time we got to that receiver, I was looking for places in the cut. You know what I mean? But luckily, those guys had a restroom. It was clean. And I mean, it was so bad, all I had to do was just walk in. There was like 30 seconds, bloop, and I was out. So, anyway, so what Prime is probably saying, or my fleet manager or sales, and is, well, we got you on the load, it's the same money, whatever. Well, our plan was to deliver this load in Melrose Park, Chicago, not be available till later that night, go to the terminal, or not to the terminal. We were going to go maybe to the terminal, but he was going to wash some clothes. We were going to take showers, do all that kind of stuff. And once they did that, our drop off was 11 p.m., which was kind of like when we were going to be available for the next load. We basically lost 24 hours on it. There's a load that was supposed to drop on this paycheck. And I'm not the paycheck drop kind of guy. I really don't care about that because, you know, it's all going to average out, whatever. But essentially, the load that we were supposed to drop at 1 o'clock p.m. didn't make it on this settlement. So this settlement is probably going to look a little shady because we don't have that load on there. And we lost a half a day for next week. So we'll see how that turns out. And, you know, here, I love my fleet manager. He just does not understand. What's up, Slime Pack? What's up, Tim Travels? So I'm talking to him, and I just don't. I think what fleet managers think is, well, as soon as your 10-hour break is up, you're going to the sleeper, and you're going to sleep for 10 hours, and you're going to be up and fresh for the next load. Well, you know what? If we're on a long run, and that's what I told him, we're getting strung along on all these solo loads, which was great, because a lot of times those loads were long loads, maybe loads that a solo driver could have done, but there was still time to kind of sleep. When you start putting us on solo loads where you know, the truck is stopping and going within 4 or 5 hour periods of time, that fucks with your sleep. And I don't think they understand that. So anyway, I'll be putting out these numbers for for last week's settlement once I get it on Friday. It's hard. Normally I can guess, okay? So if you're a new driver at Prime Fleet, the easiest way that I looked at it was, and I'm going to use round numbers, if I made $5,000 in revenue, my take-home pay should be $2,300 to $2,600. That has been tried and true. So that's how I would guess. On this week, I think we're going to be at about, we should have been about 85, which was still low, but the miles were low, the weight was low, all this kind of stuff, so that was going to translate out. But now we're going to be in the sixes, but I can't guess on how much it's going to be because we've ran loads where the reefer was off, or else the load was light, or maybe I think I might have fueled up last week, so I can't even guess. So we're going to get into that Friday when I get this settlement. But either way, listen, this shipper pissed me off so bad. I actually own their stock. I almost wanted to sell that shit, when this stuff went over, because I know our trailer didn't smell. I know none of that shit happened. I know they kicked us out of there because they were out of product. More or less, I think they were out of product. And I was fucking pissed. And then so keep in mind, we drove to the shipper. They said, "Oh, we're not gonna load you here. Go to this next place." We go to the next shipper, where one of these 3 trucks that was doing the whole convoy with us pulled into a wrong place and ended up having to back out on the street. Then they were like, "Go to this 3rd shipper." That 3rd shipper didn't know we were supposed to be there, but they did load those first 2 trucks. And here's where I think they kind of screwed us, was if they're loading trucks in order, all of a sudden they went out of order. And then when they got done with that truck, now all of a sudden our trailer smells and all this stuff, even though it just got washed out either way. So then our fleet manager said, and I was telling him, take us off this fucking load. Peace of mind is worth more than money. And as soon as you let these guys feel like they got you, like, I'll do the stuff until I'm not ready to do it. But if they feel like they can motivate you or manipulate you with money, it's a wrap. So I told him I'm done with it. If we get to these if this shit goes sideways, I'm out. You can find another truck. Unfortunately, you're the only team truck in the area. Is that some shit he said? Yeah, you're the only team truck in the area. I was like, well, they better figure this shit out on the next one, because I'm out. So at this point, now we need to find another trailer. So we go look at another trailer. That trailer was worse than this one. Well, here's another place to pick up this 4 miles away. So we go to another place to pick up a trailer. Trailer was clean, I'll give it that. It was a Tyson. So whoever dropped the trailer off there, kudos to you. Trailer was clean, but it was wet. And I was like, these guys ain't gonna take it. So we turned on the air and all this kind of stuff. We get out there. They end up loading us. Now there's tornadoes and shit in the area. I think we were actually loaded about 2 hours before we got out of there because it was raining so hard. They're like, fuck it, we ain't walking outside. We'll just let them sit out there until the rain stops. And then we were on our way. But listen, sometimes money is not, like, I would have given up whatever the money was on that load. Like I said, it's probably Prime's most comfortable, or their most, as far as the money and stuff goes, probably their most profitable client, mile for mile out there. But it was not worth that. It really wasn't. And then when we got delivered in Groveport, Ohio, we left there at 3 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't know that because he was asleep. But 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a Love's close by. I was like, okay, let me just try to hit that, see if I'm lucky. No spots available. Plus, who is this jack-off company? Old Dominion up there using the place as a drop yard. So I can't even barely make it through the Loves to exit the place. So I left that. Next stop was going to be the Sheets that was like kind of close by. Well, about 17 miles away. Stopped there. No spots. Came to this Loves. What city am I in? Anyway, came to this other Loves. Kind of bet down by Chillicothe or something like that. And I got the last spot. There was another Prime driver. If you watch this, sorry. He was waiting for drivers to leave, and I think he saw a truck leave, but I was coming in, and I had first shot at that spot, so I hit that spot and got the last spot in it. So I just told him that we are available for dispatch, even though I really didn't want to do it till tomorrow morning, but I'm trying to get these miles knocked out for him. So after all this shit, I'm just telling you right now, if these loads are going where I don't want it to go, if they have some shit going to like New Jersey or Jersey City or any, listen, I'm up to here with favors. I've done all the favors. We did the last load because there was no trucks available, which screwed us on the next one and getting all the stuff we needed done on that. We're done. So I don't care about the money. Get us on a long load where we can rest and he can get his miles, like get us out to the West Coast, whatever. But this has been crazy. It makes me mad. And what makes me mad isn't the shit that it's that the people, sales doesn't understand how important the shit is or why we care about it. Dispatch doesn't understand how all these changes affect our sleep schedule. I mean, my dispatcher leaves religiously. Jersey City is bad, and there's no reason to go there. I mean, to be honest with you, the shippers that are down there are jacked up. Why don't you park on the street and walk 3/4 of a mile to our office, and then we'll call you? No, fuck that. Listen, at this time in my life, and ask him, I'm even grumpier than I was 6 years. I don't have time. Ask him. Tell him, man. Yeah. Tell him. I'd be like, hey.
Gotta calm down, man. You gotta calm down. Don't do it.
Listen, I don't have the patience to deal with some of this stuff. So, so anyway. They just don't understand. They don't understand that they send you a load and a pre-plan that you're like, okay, we're going to drop off this load. I don't need to necessarily go right to sleep because I'm going to be able to sleep later and sleep all the way through because we don't pick up the next load till this time. But then you send them to depart. Oh, wait, here's another load for you. You know what? You had that load before. Why didn't you just send this 4 hours ago? Or 5 hours ago, we could have fucking done it. And, you know, planned our sleep around that. They don't understand that. If you're a trainer, team truck, they don't understand that. That. And then they're trying to, like, figure out ways for you to fucking make it. If they figured out how you could make a load on time, if they tried as hard to figure out how to get you loads when you're empty, when you're waiting around for 10 hours, as hard as they do figuring out how you can make a load when you can't make a load, we'd be billionaires by now. New York City and New Jersey suck equally. I kind of combined those two in the same. And there's some places in Long Island I've gone to that weren't necessarily that bad. But still, just getting there is a pain in the ass. And then you got to get out, right? And then you got to find parking as a solo driver. It's just not a good situation. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're at this Love's out here. Circleville or some shit like that, Ohio. came to take showers. He was going to do laundry, but they don't. All right, you're right. I'm out of Connecticut, so life for me. So it's life for me. I love going. Listen, not Connecticut. No, Connecticut, not Connecticut. Some of them places in Massachusetts is fine, but Connecticut, I don't really like that. And it's not that it's that difficult. It's just the parking. And if you work up there all the time, the parking is not as big of an issue. And you know all the places in the cut and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't go there a lot, you don't really know all those places to kind of hide out and stuff like that. So anyway, if you're looking for next week's pay, this is probably going to be a shithole. It's probably going to be, a bad. Like I said, we're probably good in that. It's not about the money. Hey, as a matter of fact, there was another guy that left. What's up? He said his trainer paid him an extra. I forget how much he paid him. But it basically worked out to where this student was $1,500 a week. And that right there is a good trainer. I love that training. There's not enough money that I could make to make it worth it. So I'm not giving none of that money up. And hey, when I was training, I felt this is my old trainer right here that I'm training now, technically. But I felt like I was the man when I knew he made a good check because of what I was doing. So, and he's feeling the same way. It's like, listen, whatever. He's like, hey, nah, boss, man.
Chill out, man. It's not cold.
I got you. So, if I was with a regular student, money doesn't motivate me, and I say there's no money worth actually doing it. Like, if money is my focus, there's not enough money to make me train. I'm not going to give up that money to a student because I'm providing. It's like me out there in the country teaching somebody how to fish. You know what? Let me teach you how to fish and you don't got to worry about the money. That's more valuable than the immediate money right now. But like I said, if it was about money, you wouldn't even have been picked up by me. It's got to be more than money. All right, so I'm about to get off here. Hey, Barry, what's up? Like I said, we are available for dispatch now. Earlier than I was anticipating, because I was about to just sit 24 hours. I was so mad. But, I still may sell this stock of this company that screwed us yesterday. I'm that mad at how they treated us. And even the pay didn't soothe the soul. Even though it probably paid $10 a mile or, somewhere in that neighborhood, still didn't make up for all that. All the mental gymnastics we had to go through for that, especially when I've came to the conclusion that they lied about the trailer just to get us out of there. Nobody can convince me of that wasn't the case. Just the way they were acting and all this kind of stuff. Which of you guys came in first? And all this kind of stuff. And then magically they put another truck in front of us, a short truck. P.S. Godson, see that right there? It's like teaching your brother how to ride a bike. The smile goes both ways. Spoken like a true prodigy right there. Anyway, I'm about to get off here and get prepared for this next dispatch. But listen, like I said, it's not about the money. It's about the miles. If I wasn't trying to get him through this shit, as soon as possible. I would probably sit till tomorrow morning. But I'm just trying to get it through. Now, okay, here's one redeeming value about yesterday. So our drop yesterday was supposed to go to Melrose Park, Illinois. I think in terms of miles and money, where we're at right now is probably a better reload location. Moving out of here is probably going to go west. Everything out of Chicago, all that shit, is probably going to be a short load, which I'd love as a solo driver, somewhere in that, Midwest area, maybe down south or going to the northeast. So at least here we have the potential for some longer loads, and there's just more to choose from. So anyway, not all is lost. When you get old like me and Rusty, and I don't know who else is in here, that's like Tim Travels. Slime Pack is too young to understand this. But us older people, once you get over 50, man, your fuse is a little bit short, and your desire to deal with the bullshit is a lot less. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Anyway, I'm about to get off here, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking Transportation. Watch out for this week 2 full week of training settlement pay. And wait, by the way, anybody that's, so there are some people in the last video that said, well, Lyle, you're a truck. That's why you did so well last week. Listen, don't cut my last trainees short. They ran all the miles there were to run, and as a matter of fact, I think